Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV, and I'll be your guide today going through, for the first time in a couple years, getting some updated footage on the 171R BXL, either Salem X-Lite or Wildwood Cruise Light. Two names for the exact same thing. I am glad to finally get my hands back on an updated version of this because this thing checks major boxes. It is a simple, easy, lightweight, more affordable, no slide camper, ideally fit for solo or couples use right here. It's definitely not a family model, but they make a bunkhouse version of this called a 19 DBXL. But what we're looking at here is also one in the Platinum package today. That's the optional fiberglass skin. Normally would have the corrugated tin skin that you find on most of these family members here. What's cool about this is it's barely over 4,300 pounds empty dry weight, but it has a GVW of nearly 75, which means this thing has a crazy awesome cargo carry capacity. And it's been my experience that so many RVs are really lacking in cargo capacity, so they end up with either overloaded axles or frames, and they tend to come back for more service work. I have a feeling that this one won't experience those kind of things near to that level just because it has the extra allowance available, basically. It's not carrying its maximum load all the time. But it does have things like, the Murphy bed in the front, giving us the space of a slide out without the extra cost of a slide, you know what I mean? It also cuts down on a lot of weight doing that. This also has a very nice full-size rear bathroom that has a lot of big extra storage in it, including dedicated linen space. For a more budget-focused, simple series camper, I think it checks the really big, important boxes. And it's normally the kind of thing like this layout, for whatever reason, is kind of rare in the industry, and I don't know why, because I think it's great, but that's just my 2 cents. I'm going to point out where they nailed it, maybe where they didn't along the way, so that you have a fair estimation of what we're looking at. And if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button, and let's get going. And whether it's from the carpetless, like pet-friendly, more spill-forgiving kind of flooring, all the way up to the kind of surprising fact that they included central air conditioning in this little camper. This is a more budget-focused, simple series camper that doesn't always have a feature like that. And in a primarily one-room cabin like this, it's not a big deal. But when you have a private bathroom, you want to make sure you're not hotboxing yourself back there. It's kind of nice. You saw those little fins that I closed? When they're open, it will just dump all the cold air right here in the living kitchen kind of main cabin area. So if it is just a real scorcher of a day, because this thing has some decent window coverage, which looks awesome, and I do like the fact that the windows are tinted. It also has blackout roller shades with a white backer to help reflect a lot more sun. But the fact is, you could have more sunshine getting soaked up into this thing, so it's nice to be able to help keep the area cooler. Now, it's a conventional 6.5-foot ceiling. It's not extra tall inside or anything like that, like the Big Brother full Wildwood, full Salems would be. But it's enough. Now, you'll see later, I'll demonstrate with my toilet selfie champion routine how, it is a little bit short in the shower for someone of my height and stature. But for a quick, weekender kind of camping trip like this, I'm okay with it. Now, it has central air, but it does not have centralized heating. Your furnace is direct venting straight right there, right in the middle of the RV. That tends to be less of an issue for more people, but that might be something worth considering depending on how you feel about it. Now, what's really cool about this one, this is one of the only builders other than Rockwood who has a one-piece kind of easy up-down Murphy bed. Most RV manufacturers have some form of hinged folding, I call it Bendy Bed or something like that. And this is one of the very few that does not. So, to give you kind of a little, we'll get to that in just a second. Actually, before I forget, while I have the bed open, I want to actually dive into all the storage. Now, what's interesting here is they have what they call their CPAP side pockets, where you actually have power outlets in those hanging wardrobe towers. And I'll show you why that's useful in just a second here. The other thing that I want to mention is the storage below the bed is actually it's the same space as the outside front pass-through. So you don't have separate inside-outside storage. And those are the extra details that I like to offer you. And I know that some folks may not like that. So I hope you appreciate that I go way out of my way to point out those kind of I call them points of consideration, things that make you go, the stuff that you might not like about an RV. I don't want to be exclusively sunshine and rainbows, although I think overall this is definitely a more positive than negative kind of camper. But what's easy about this is it's just simple, easy one piece up and down. It's not gas strut assisted, but the way that they have their pivot point, it's like it helps balance itself. Now, one of the things I do want to point out here is that is a short queen mattress. That is a 60 by 74 camp queen. Someone might ask, can I put a longer queen bed in it? I don't know that you could, because when the bed's all the way up, something you got to remember, the ceiling is 6.5 foot tall, and a 60 by 80 queen is, 80 inches is 2 inches longer than 6.5, which is 78 inches. So that's part of the reason that the bed's on a little bit of an angle, because it's up in that sort of, bullet nose shaped front end right there. It might be possible, might not. You're definitely squishing the mattress at the very least. So I would be kind of curious, any owners who are out there currently, if you've done something like that. Now, this is why they kind of call them the CPAP side pockets. So you saw the power outlets earlier, but with the bed in the up position, what you can't see is that you have those easy access holes on either side of the thing, which is great. Even like, I like to have my phone beside me at night, but it drives me nuts like when it lights up at night. If, I have people that send me messages all through the evening hours, so I have to put my phone on do not disturb mode, but a lot of times the screen still lights up. So it's nice to have a little bit of a break there. And I dislike jumping you into the realm of wide-angle lens mode like this, but it really is about the only way to be able to do a Murphy bed demonstration when I operate solo. I don't have a dedicated camera operator with me. It's just me and you, but truly, it's just me in here doing what we're doing. I do like the little details, though, how beside the Murphy sofa, they do go ahead and try to finish that off a little bit so you're not actually staring down into the front pass-through. And you may have noticed how both sides of the bed do have household and USB outlets. And those USB plugs, let me get you up a little bit closer here to them, nice and slow so I don't make you sick. They're both Type A and Type C. Now, the Type A charger is obviously very low voltage. The Type C is not going to be necessarily the fastest charger that is available, but it will do better than that rectangular Type A plug. And if you don't know the difference between the two plugs, you don't worry about it. Just use the one that is fit to shape your phone, basically. I love the big windows that they put in that. When they came out with the View models, one of the things that they did is, even if it's not one of the specific View floor plans, they standardized a whole lot bigger windows around bedroom areas wherever possible. Now, one thing I will say is that this RV does suffer from a lack of available countertop space, but I think it's because there's just only so much you can do about it. For a small RV, though, the kitchen storage is not terrible. It's not the world's most amazing kind of thing, but it's not bad. That's one of those 10 plus cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridges, and at a glance it had no drawers, but thankfully they do have a pair of drawers behind a door under the sink. So you might ask, why did they do that? This is going to sound crazy, but it's actually the drawer fronts that are one of the most expensive parts of including a drawer for a manufacturer. So if they can use one cabinet door and hide two drawers behind it, you end up saving money as a result. So some people like it, some people don't, but that's the reasoning behind it. By the way, when they went to these bigger windows, you may notice how they now have sliding curtains. One of the cool benefits to that is that closet door on the right-hand side of the screen, it can actually open further now. It can open completely. The old boxy valances that were on them always prevented that cabinet door from opening all the way, which made sometimes getting into your clothes annoying and a little bit difficult. Now, the camera's about to flicker, so if you're light sensitive, you might want to look away. I'll give you a 3, 2, 1. And then I'm going to hold my finger on the dimmer switch here, and you can see the lights die down a little bit. Now, they have positional memory as well, so if you leave them down, they'll stay that way. Then you just put your finger on the button and hold it again, and they swell right up for you. Now, the specific RV we're in today has pretty much every option that's available on these, whether it's the fiberglass platinum package or the 200-watt solar panel package that's up on the roof, and that'll come with a 30-amp PWM controller. And if you don't know what PWM means, it's basically, it's a battery tender. It's not a real aggressive fast charger. Now, one of the other things that you might not recognize is this panel over here. This is our tankless on-demand water heater that equips us for long, hot showers. Wildwood getting seductive with it over here. I don't know. Maybe I just... Freud says you see what you want to see. Now, the dinette down here, there is full storage below it. Personally, I would really like it if that was kind of open air right there to be a bit of a clutter cutter shoe garage. But I think part of the reason that it isn't is if we actually open that up, both sides of that dinette include a food safe storage tote, which is actually kind of nice. So yeah, it's not an open air shoe garage, but it's also very easy to access, no space gone to waste kind of situation here. Now, there's a bunkhouse version of this camper, and from this wall back to the front, they're identical. So they have the same middle and the same front. The 171 solo or couples model has a big rear bathroom. The 19 DBXL has a set of double over double bunks with a little bit smaller bathroom. Now the bunk version is a little bit larger overall, but they are, you know, both small, both tandem axle, both lightweight, and generally speaking, the same vehicle is going to be able to handle both of them. The bathroom spacer on this one is fairly fluffy friendly, and I do like that open air cubby right there. Perfect place to keep a bunch of the old extra butt napkins, you know what I mean? Now over here on the left, this is just a big chunk of bonus storage, and if you notice, it's also they include a hanging rod straight from the factory. So if you want to, you can actually use that as overflow closet space. Maybe just keep a couple jackets in there, depending on the seasonality in which you're camping. And that is a medicine cabinet. That's not just a mirror on the wall. One of the only knocks that I have here, well, really through the entirety of the RV, is whether it's the bathroom or the kitchen, there's no real dedicated space for a wastebasket, which I think is kind of a trick. Now, I'm at a bit of a tricky angle to display this, so I'm going to jump into the bathroom real fast. And you should see how I got myself half shoved into that big extra bathroom bonus closet to get you this footage right here. It's just what I got to do to get you the shots, guys. I do my own stunts in the same way that Bill O'Reilly does it live. That right there, that extra dedicated linen storage, in addition to that big closet that we already looked at, for me, that is smart, good money content. And again, the RV is 6.5 foot tall, and it's a radius shower. So I don't have the best headroom in here, being a little over 6 foot myself. And some folks may feel that you don't have the best elbow room with a radius corner shower. Well, radius corner shower? Yeah, I guess it's in the corner of the RV, and radius makes sense. So there you go. You know, there's ups and there's downs to everything. And my goal with this is, again, just to try to educate you, to help you decide, you know, is this going to be your second camper the first time? I will say that if you are looking at something a little bit smaller than this, you're probably looking at single axle RVs, and just by virtue of the fact that this is a tandem axle, will probably handle much better behind your vehicle, even if it is a little bit heavier weight. And in terms of road mode, with no slides, this one is always ready to go. It's also, as a result, perfect for what I call stealth mode camping, where, like, let's say you get stuck in a traffic jam and you can't make it as far, or you're taking a long... Ooh, that's not the best angle. I'll have to watch my backgrounds a little bit better. It's kind of like on eBay when somebody's like trying to sell a mirror, but they're standing in front of it naked when they take the picture and post it. Just one of, I guess not that bad necessarily, but you get the idea. What was I getting at? Stealth mode camping. There's no slides to worry about. You don't even got to unhook from your vehicle. If you have to, you can just pull into a Cracker Barrel overnight and use the whole RV, frankly. And again, one of the really cool things on this one is it's generally, you know, lightweight nature given its tandem axle status. A lot of that comes from the fact that it does not have a slide out. No slide also means less weight, less cost, less upkeep, less worry. Now, this one does have a little bit of extra weight added to it. It may not exactly jive with the weights and measures I put on screen. The one that we're looking at today has a little bit of an, over a 4,300 pound empty, dry weight. I suspect the base version of this will actually be a little bit lighter listed on screen because this one's in Platinum Edition. It really kind of messes people up because a lot of times when you see fiberglass, you tend to associate that with lighter weights. But the thing is, it's not fiberglass that reduces weight, it's lamination. So like this Rockwood over here is aluminum framed and laminated. That will help keep weight in check. The Wildwood or Salem, depending on which one you're looking at, same camper, would normally be kind of like that Jayco in the background with the tin skin. Either way, this thing still maintains a wooden frame. when you add fiberglass skin on it, you're actually adding weight because the fiberglass skin has to be laminated to a substrate, a backer. So you've effectively added a 3/8 plywood sheeting all the way around the outside of this thing, which adds up very quickly. But it's also very hail resistant, and it gives you the easy cleaning benefits of that laminated RV while still giving you the ability to run things like power outlets and copper lines through the walls like a stick and tin camper. I call this hybrid style construction. And I think that it's one of those things that doesn't always get its preferred day in court. Power tongue jack up front. There is a battery disconnect hidden behind the double propane tanks as well. It does have protected enclosed hinges here for the baggage doors, which is really nice in the Midwest where you get freezes and thaws. It's not a slam latch system, but it does at least have the magnet hold back. And as you can see, it comes equipped with a handy dandy little dry erase board. I have no idea who left that message for us today, that's for sure. Definitely no idea whatsoever. Nope. I also like little things when manufacturers they put the little jack crank handles and stuff just kind of up out of the way. They actually give it a place and a purpose, which I think is great. I have long said that Salem and Wildwood has some of the best-in-class stability, and these quick drop stabilizers are a big part of that. They basically have a JT strong arm stabilizer built right into it, sort of, effectively. But long story short, this thing, if you're inside and you're walking around, you got those jacks down, they bite the ground better, they provide more stability, and they jostle you around less. Now, one of the downsides to this RV is the awning's kind of laughable. I'm laughing, obviously. Because it's not a really big, long sidewall, they just didn't have good opportunity for a big, giant awning. Although I do really like the giant campsite window, I just like it better when my fat reflection is not sitting in that thing. I have been saying this for 3 years, but I have got to get on losing some weight. Whoa, I'm tripping on something behind me here. Sorry, I'm right up next to the shop, obviously. We just had a whole wave of new stuff come in, and I was like, I'm grabbing the camera. I'm jumping on this stuff right away here. Now, instead of the camp kitchen, they put your water heater right over here, so it's right next to the bathroom, and it's not a long RV anyway, so it is pretty close to the kitchen, which means you always have pretty fast hot water service. And as we saw inside, this is a good camper for long, hot showers. Now, this is interesting to me. They did a thing right here where to access our water heater and stuff, they basically built on this little, it's not flashy, it's not fancy, but it's effective. And sometimes that's all something needs to be. I don't always need flashy and fancy. Sometimes I just need something to work. And when it comes to doing things like accessing my water heater for winterization purposes, that's one of those times, I think. We are prepped and ready for a telescopic removable ladder. And this does have a walk-on roof. It's got a 3/8 OSB decking with 16-inch on-center roof trusses. And while we're talking construction, you also have an average of 16-inch on-center wall studs with 12-inch average on-center floor joist below a 5/8 tongue groove plywood floor deck. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about how these are built, wouldn't you know it, I happen to have a whole Wildwood and Salem factory video tour from years back that you can check out. Most of that still applies. It's probably still about 98% accurate at this stage, even after all these years. So what do you think, everybody? I've ran my mouth plenty now. You tell me what you think. I'll leave you, of course, links in the video description to check for pricing and availability. And when you're ready, we're ready, basically. We'd love to work with you. It's strange. You don't find this layout a lot in laminated RV builders. And again, if you're looking for something to sleep a few more people, they do make a bunkhouse version of this called a 19DB XL. Different back ends, same middle and front. So you can kind of pick and choose. This is just for me and you, or maybe not me and you, maybe just the two of you, or your family. I don't know. Yeah, this is becoming very close to being an HR nightmare, so I'm going to wrap this up. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.